Story time. Now, I never use this 3-minute feature, but we finna see what it's cracking like. So before I can start the real story, I need to give you guys some backstory. So I got you. So boom, goes to one barber my entire life. Known him since I was a literal baby. Cuts my hair all the time. You know what? That went out the window because he decided to go on a little euphoria bender. And now I don't got no barber. So I eventually get fed up and I'm like, I need a new barber because I had an event to go to and I had to look nice. So what did I do? I went and found a new barber. Now I contacted somebody that used to work in First Barber's shop, right? So anyways, I go to him, I get my haircut. It's good, it's clean. He's a young dude, he's nice, he's chill, vibes right. Well, apparently the vibes must have been a little too wrong because he came up in there drunk, screaming about his girlfriend, crying about her and everything in front of the customers, and he got kicked out. So, barber number 2, out the window. Ain't that great? So then, going into the same building as barber number 2, I said, let me see if I can just find somebody else inside of here that will cut my hair really well. So I watched and I watched, found out the old head inside of there cuts hair really well. Now, problem with old head, I don't know what type of mental disorder he has, but he talks to himself. And I understand, I talk to myself, but he talks to himself in front of people. So I was like, you know what, I'm just have to take the L on this vibe and just get a good haircut. Wrong. I sit down in the chair, he starts cutting before I say what I want. Red flag, real red flag. So, instead of getting up, I said, I'm just let him finish. I told him what I wanted, and then he cut me up. Did good until I had a box at the time. He started shaping the box. I don't let nobody shape my box. I also don't let nobody touch my eyebrows. I'll kill you over both of them things. So I told him, and it was too late. So he had to finish. Needless to say, I never went to that barber again. So I got these locks in my hair now, right? I went probably a good month before even thinking about going to another barber. So then I tried contacting barber number 1, who was on a bender. Long story short, he made me pay him in advance and he never even showed up. So whatever. So I'm gonna just get to the real story. So I go to this 4th barber now, suggested by my mother, who also dropped me off. She was only there, she came inside because she had to bring somebody else with. Anyways, that's important to the story. So she knows this man who's cutting my hair, and this shop just so happened to be very close to where I live, and I was very grateful. She said he can cut hair, and my mom don't lie. She don't play about my hair, and I don't play about my hair, so I knew I could trust her. So I just want y'all to realize, I understand that barbers have to get in your face, but when I say this man was an inch away from kissing me, man's was like this, and I will admit he was attractive. But now, fellas, we all know we avoid all type of eye contact with somebody in our face cutting our hair. This man was fighting for me to see him. So eventually I gave him a split second where I caved in, and when I tell you he looked at me, bro, he went from cutting my hair to, huh? Story time part 2. So anyway, the barber's in my face, cut my face like this. Sorry. So I'm doing everything in my power to not make any eye contact with this man. I'm going up, down, left, right, like everything, trying to avoid. So we did that about like 3 times in a row, and you know, it was getting irritating. So then I just closed my eyes. And I know a lot of y'all thinking, why didn't you do that from the beginning? Y'all, I was freaking out. Like, who thinks clearly when you're freaking out? So I also want to bring up this point that I came to when I was talking to my friend after all this happened. I noticed that every time he would like get close to my face, like damn near finna kiss me, literally, he would turn my chair to where my back was towards my mother. Now this is where it got weird because all of a sudden she started talking to him and she pointed out the fact that they knew each other. She was like, oh yeah, I haven't seen you since the old shop. I knew I recognized you. And I said, wait, what shop? Y'all, that man was from the same shop as Euphoria Bender. I was like, huh? Oh, no, y'all running the same crowd. So I'm like, yeah, that's who used to cut my hair. He was like, oh, really? He was like, I just seen him the other day. I was like, what you talking about? He was like, yeah, he was just going up to his shop to go cut some hair. Did I not tell y'all that he wasn't there when I went to go and get my haircut? Besides the point, I explained to this man how I desperately needed a barber. I ain't had no barbers. I was down to my last straw with Euphoria Bender. So I was like, if you do a good job, you my new barber, bro. So anyways, big homie was doing a good job. I was kind of like peeping through one of the mirrors, like everything he was doing. I was like, great, he doing good, he doing good. But I kept reminding myself, like, he's also getting a little too close. So anyway, him and my mom was having a conversation, but he seemed kind of disinterested, you know, where you get them dry responses and you just like, yeah, no, for sure, yeah, So my mom picked up that he wasn't really like trying to talk about whatever they were talking about, and then she switched the subjects to talk about me and my brothers. This is where it gets weird because I'm like, she's talking about me. She making me sound like a child. Y'all, I'm 21, so like, I mean, I'm still young. But at the same time, I was like, good, make me sound like a child. So she got to talk about my brothers, and like, he seemed kind of disinterested with them too. But then she moved on to me. She started talking about how I be singing, I be doing art and all this stuff. And then talked about like how I was into modeling. And this man was like so interested in hearing everything. He kept asking me questions, asking her questions. So I'm over here like, damn, you brushed off every other fucking subject except for me, huh? Anyway, after he finally finished the cut, he handed me the mirror and I'm looking, I'm checking. And man was like, focus on my face. And I understand you're going to be focused on my face because you want to know if I liked it. So I smiled and I was like, yeah, you did a good job. I was like, all right, cool, you know. Y'all, I remember walking in and the charge was $25 for a haircut. When I told him it was good, y'all, mind you, it's just me, my mom, and my little god brother who was also there. That man whispered in my ear, hey man, it's just 15 for you. Like, why did you? You know what? Part 3 is gonna be a minute long. That's it. Story. All right, part 3 is the end. There ain't nothing else after this. So far. So once he finished cutting my hair, I was like, okay, I'm ready to like hurry up and get up out of here. So before even getting in there, I asked him like if there's any type of payment methods. He was like, I accept Cash App, Venmo, card, or cash. So after I get my haircut, he's like, you know, you can Cash App me real quick. And I was like, okay, cool. So he whipped out his phone, Cash App. I scanned this thing and I was trying to pay for it, right? But for some reason, my phone had no connection. And he was like, well, I mean, it's poor connection over here. But sometimes, you know, I step all the way up to the front. So I just start walking up to the front. And he starts guiding me, like, hand on my back. Actually, it was on my lower back. Hand on my lower back, guiding me to the door. So he takes me all the way to the door and he starts taking me outside. I was like, I don't think I need to go all the way outside. Mind you, I don't have my jacket on too, so that's mainly the reason I didn't want to go outside. But also because, why are you trying to take me outside? So anyways, I'm like, okay, it's not really working. And he was like, okay, scan it again. Y'all, I went to scan it and he got a text. Now, I'm not one to be all up in people's business, so I tried to ignore it. But my eyes caught it anyway, because it just popped up while I was looking at the thing. And I don't know who it was, but they sent a bunch of heart eyes, and it was an unsaved number. So I was like, I'm gonna leave that alone, because that's none of my business. So quickly, he slid that hoe up, as you should. So anyway, I figured out how to switch my phone from LTE to 4G and get it to load. So when it finally loaded, I paid that man. I paid him 20 instead, right? And I don't know if I did the wrong thing doing that, but I think it gave him a signal that shouldn't have been there. So he looked at me when he got it. And he was like, I got it. And he looked at it and he smiled. He was like, anyway. So we leaving, right? And we walking up the door. My mom goes out first, my little brother, and then it's me walking out. As I'm walking out, somebody else is walking in. So I was like, oh, my bad, you know? And then little homie, like the guy that walked in, was trying to talk to him. And before he could say anything, he was like, hold on. If you, like, why did you cut that young gentleman off? He was trying to talk to you. And then he looked at me. He was like, you know, if you want to take down my number, it's right there on the back of the door when you walk out. So just go ahead and take that down. Sir, what do I need to take down your number for if I know where your business is? There's no need for me to take down your number. But okay, I'll take it down. So I took down his number and I left. That's where the story ends. Now, it could continue. I feel like he only didn't try anything further because my mother was there. And my worries now are when I have to go back and get my hair cut, because I am going to go back to him. He's good. If my mom isn't there, what will spiral? Because if something happens, get ready for another story time. As one of my favorite mutuals says, welcome to hotels where we tell my business.